You speak many languages. You're a linguist. Can you Sabela?
That's one of the things I learned. Well, I didn't learn to Sabela, but I learned the history of how Sabela came about. You've heard of Po? You've heard of Kirikijani and Oh, okay. But so we're not supposed to talk about this actually.
I'm not a gangster. I grew up.
How did you learn about Sabela?
I grew up in Clark Estate.
Okay, okay. Right.
So a lot of gangsters, and still is the same. I mean, we lived there in the 80s. It's still the same. Do you think, because gangsterism, it's not gonna disappear. All over the world, you've got gangsters, you've got drug smugglers, all these things. Some politicians and some government officials, police, everyone eventually gets a piece of the cut. You got police and you got prisoner. You know, all these pieces. If you understand what I'm going with, the pastor and the politician and the police and the president, it all just goes together, man. Yeah. Now, you spoke about the gangsterism. It's not going to stop. Do you think, if you address the subliminal issues, like, you know, for me, to Sabela, it's like a cult. It absorbs your mind and your psyche. And if we can maybe focus on addressing that issue, and they say there's no jobs, but can't we start sending kids back to the army? If they want to shoot gun, to the army, to the navy, to this opportunity in the air force. I mean,
my son actually said to me that a friend of his, gentleman I think he used to that he worked with, feels that we should bring back conscription. That might be an option. Of course, conscription was something else for us during apartheid.
Yeah, it was forced.
But that is an option for young people. They learn discipline, they learn a skill, and so that certainly is one of the avenues that we could go. I think it's available for them to apply now.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's quite difficult because my cousin's son wanted to apply. There's a lot of red tape, a lot of things that do a lot of. I mean, it's quite difficult to get in. We've experienced it a few months ago. And I mean, I made some phone calls. I phoned the Navy. They say you must phone the one in, down south. They don't answer the phones, you send emails, so it's quite difficult. And it's probably something that you guys can have a look at.
It's not something that I've focused on, but certainly something I'll have to go and have a look at, yes.
And you know, to create jobs and get people off the street. I personally, I've given a lot of people jobs. I pay them well. I've sent them to Northing training. You know, FET colleges? I call it EFT colleges. There's a lot of money flow to it. I send a lot of guys to Northing, waterproofing, roofing training specifically, because when you can do the work and you understand what you're doing, you don't have to work for a roof on top. You can start your own business, and you can fix a roof. You don't.
So you're exactly the kind of entrepreneur I'm talking about.
Yeah, but what I'm saying to you is, when you go there, it's not expensive, and I fail to understand why government can't push more youngsters through those. It doesn't make sense. Why not? For me, it feels like you want us to be poor, you want us to be slaves, you want us to fail, so that. You know,
there are programs that are available which I think needs better marketing.
Okay.
I think it needs better marketing. I'm aware that there are programs available for youth which should be marketed better.
Yeah. Now, if I'm a brown person, right, and I do my best to perpetuate for brown people, because it's quite difficult. In the Clark Estates, Elsie's River, the Menenbergs, it's very, very difficult, and it's very competitive out there, you know. So for me, I believe we should, you know, try and educate more, yes, get the message out there. But I mean, for me, I just feel that not enough is done for brown people. Do you have the same sentiment, or do you feel otherwise?
I feel more should be done for all people. I certainly, my heart goes out to all people who have been disadvantaged by apartheid, who were oppressed under apartheid. And that's whatever you want to call it, however shade you want to give it. These are my people. They are my people. I was oppressed with. Together we were oppressed. And so I feel for you.
If we look at the ANC and the structure of the ANC, if we look at in terms of color now, and we're talking about color now, do you think the ANC, you know, because brown people also fought in the struggle, but when you look at all these days where they, you know, memorize, or there's a public holiday they only speak about what the African black did for the struggle.
Well, I feel our history needs to be decolonized. Our school books need to be decolonized. So decolonization of the curriculum should happen. I just recently did a language edit on a book which was co-edited by journalist Zubaida Jaffa, where they talk about decolonization of journalism. So we need to educate our children. When in my class, for instance, when I talk to students of mine who are from Emaxhoseni, and I tell them, do you know that the clicks in Xhosa come from the Khoi and the Sun? Many of them don't know this. So this needs to be taught. This needs to be taught at school. The first line of defense against colonialism was the Khoi and the Sun. Centuries ago. And they paid a heavy price. Almost completely, it was genocidal forces that were brought against us, and they need to be commemorated. You are right. This needs to be put into our history books so that we can respect and memorialize all those who sacrificed that we may have this democracy that we have now. So many of those who fought the fight against colonization and against apartheid have not been included in our national memory, and this must be corrected, yes.
All right. There you have it, guys. Dmitri Jegels, can you do that radio thing?
Well, I look forward to the day when we can say these are the days of the ones redeemed, unchained and burden-free.
I say, Dmitri Jegels, guys.